Hi there. This came from one of those TikTok videos that made me say, I have to make this. And that 1-minute video didn't say how long it would take to actually make. However, the effort was definitely worth it. This dish takes your typical shepherd's pie, or cottage pie as they call it in England, and takes it up a few notches. It's definitely a lot more than just your typical pub grub.
The preparations for this dish aren't hard, though it does take a while to get from start to finish. For the first part, we cut about 3 pounds of beef into cubes. You can use a cheap cut of beef since it's going to be cooked until it falls apart. Here we're using chuck roast because that happened to be the cheapest cut I could find at the supermarket. We then cut up our mirepoix vegetables of red onions, celery, and carrots. We don't even need to peel the carrots. Toss the beef in a bowl with a small amount of flour until the beef pieces are coated. And once that's done, we start preheating the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And now we're ready to break out the cast iron. This is a 7-quart enameled cast iron Dutch oven, and we heat it on the stovetop until it's good and hot. Then we start by searing the beef until it's browned on all sides. It's better to sear the meat in batches to avoid crowding the pan. Now we melt some butter in the pot and add the carrots and celery. Fry these in the butter until the carrots are soft. And then we add minced garlic, the chopped onions, and finally sliced mushrooms. Add the beef back into the pot and mix it all together. Now we add 2 bottles of ale, preferably Guinness. We then add enough beef broth to ensure everything is just barely covered. And finally, mix in some thyme for extra flavor. Cover the pot, and we cook it all in the oven for an hour and a half. And while it's in the oven, we can prepare for part 2. Making the beef stew was the hard part, and all we need to do now is prepare the mashed potato filling for the pie. We peel some potatoes and cut them up, but we don't have to start boiling them just yet. We'll finish preparing the potatoes after we check the stew in an hour and a half. After this time, we add some more liquid to the pot so it doesn't dry out, and put it back into the oven for another hour. Now we can boil the potatoes in salted water for about 45 minutes. That's 10 to 15 minutes to bring the water to a boil, and the rest of the time to boil them. The potatoes are ready, so we drain them. Then we add a stick of butter, ground pepper, garlic powder, dried basil and parsley, and about a cup of milk. Then we mash it all together. And the mashed potatoes are done just in time for the beef stew to come out of the oven. And now for part 3. While we could eat this beef stew and mashed potatoes right now, we're going to combine them together. That means raising the temperature of the oven to 400 and spreading out the beef stew in a 9x13 baking dish. And here we're using an enameled cast iron baking dish. Then we top it with a layer of mashed potatoes. Finally, lay down a layer of puff pastry. And then spread an egg wash over the top. And it goes back into the oven to bake until the puff pastry is brown and, well, puffy. This will take about 20 to 25 minutes. And now here is a thing of beauty. We wait about 15 minutes for the beef stew base to settle and cool off a little bit. And now it's time to serve our beef and Guinness pie.
I'll admit, this is a very filling dish, and it's almost guaranteed to put you to sleep because it's so heavy. But I'm not considering this a bad thing because this pie is bursting with flavor and you'll enjoy every bite of it. It was definitely worth it to make this, and I hope you give it a try because I'm certain you'll find it very satisfying. Just realize it'll probably take an entire afternoon or evening to make it, and that's something they don't tell you in that TikTok video. Thank you for watching.